Hey guys, and CSFan001 here for part 81 of Let's Play Fallout New Vegas. This is actually my second take of this because of what happened in the first take, and that might actually be an extras video for this project.
Yo! You seem familiar somehow. I'm guessing... little...
Yes, I would like that.
Depth perception is a problem with this old monitor of mine. Went black. Oh, should look at getting...
Thanks.
I have all sorts of amazingly science-orific thoughts, and I forget them all.
So, this is Dr. Mobius, a Mentats addict, but not really the crazy evil person that we expected, as you'll see in a minute. I need my brain back first. Okay, you're not going to help us. So, first let's repair your monitor a little bit. And that'll get us some extra XP, as you can see there. What can you tell me about the robo-scorpions?
Every scientist needs... How scary, I thought. But they have some... Then I thought about custard.
What? I was curious about some things. Why did you steal my brain?
Oh, a variety of reasons.
Reasons?
You're something of a hawk. If you...
Blah, 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 blah. I don't like you. You don't seem aggressive. Why broadcast threats to the think tank?
Oh, I was probably tripping hard on Psycho when I sent that. So many chems, such varieties. Whenever I take Mentat, as for the psych...
So, actually, that's pretty interesting.
Did I? Maybe I did. Can't have them leaving. You and your brain are quite...
So that's actually pretty interesting, is that he's not really a bad person / robot.
What?
He's really not... Doesn't seem like he meant to really do this stuff. He really doesn't seem like too bad of a guy. I think that he is actually... And I don't think he really meant to hurt anybody, and it feels like he's just more of a junkie, if anything. And we're going to skip through a lot of these dialogues just because it gives us a lot of additional XP. Okay, we're not really too interested in that. What we are interested in, though, is the fact that we are about to do something even stranger than normal. We are going to talk to our own brain. Yes, this seems very logical.
Well, look who finally dragged themselves...
Are you my brain?
Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie?
You're such a douche. Okay, a dick. Close enough.
Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, quote, dick, unquote. As if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge.
You do realize you're my brain.
Shot in the head and...
You're my freaking brain.
I most certainly am not. I'm the seat of all reason and logic and all those feeling glands. They come from glands. Free of the tip.
You are the weirdest freaking thing.
Well, look.
Now, actually, what happened to me was it got stuck in like an infinite loop of dialogue whenever I was trying to record last time. I'll be back later and let myself level up, and I think this might have been what caused the game to glitch out. So I want to go ahead and just level up now and get that out of the way. Let's get that up. Man, only 11 more levels to go. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, yeah. So I'll re-download probably Lonesome Road just for that purpose, though. But look at this, the skills are getting up pretty high right now. Actually, you know what, that's pretty good right now. Let's bump up survival. Okay, so now... yeah, how did Mobius get a hold of it?
After the think tank extracted me from your skull, they fell to bickering amongst them. Dr. Mobius saw an opportunity to gain...
How did he manage that?
I don't know. I'm afraid the trauma of our separation rendered me
This is just so weird. I mean, we're talking to our own brain. I mean, yeah.
Yes, well, believe me, the opposite is equally true. Good Lord, have you bathed at all since...
Yes, because running around a crater full of bizarre science experiments, hygiene is a top priority.
Well, I see sarcasm hasn't eluded you. Fine.
I could smash the tank you're in.
By all means, if the idea of spending the rest of your days as a true Actually, come to think of it...
God, how much freaking dialogue am I gonna have to go through?
Fun? Fun? Is tetanus fun? Is wrecking... The things you do with our body are suicidally dangerous, and if you could silence your...
Don't you want to be reunited?
I'm not going to lie to you. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have... In your head, I've got poison, radiation. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate?
You never even urinate in this game!
Overrated biological feedback. Believe me, you only...
Isn't it... blah blah blah. I think we're at an impasse. You can't feel what I feel, and I can't think the way you think.
Indeed. Quite the conundrum.
We aren't complete if we're
I
separated.
suppose there might be some advantage to that, yes. There's a chance that the
Join me for some wild adventures?
Well, I suppose you've convinced... Unfortunately, even if I could settle myself back in your skull and reconnect all those pesky nerve endings, we would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab.
Why? They promised to put us back together.
And you believe them? Really? Once I'm delivered into their clutches, they'll find a way past the radar fence and the home... And that is assuming, of course, that one of them doesn't take a fancy to our body and decide to slip it...
You're part of me. I know you don't want to let that happen any more than I do.
Well, I suppose... Right. Look out, think tank. I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other... Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you... Right then, off.
Okay, so we've gotten our brain back, but... Actually, I am not going to retrieve my original heart or spine, because the perks that you get from them are just a little too good. So, I don't know if we get to keep the brainless perk or not, which is kind of unfortunate, but the other two are heartless, which, as you remember, means I can't be poisoned, and healing items function at a higher level. Robots are less likely to score a critical hit. I'm not going to take that away. And I'm also not going to take away spineless, because my torso can no longer be crippled. My strength and damage threshold have each been increased by 1. I'm not going to do that. But, you know, I would rather have my brain back in my body, because, you know, why not? I mean, I'd rather have my brain in my body and get it back soon, because I just feel incomplete without him. I mean, sure, I can live without the heart and the spine because it makes me stronger, but, you know, I don't want to continue trekking through the wasteland without my brain. I mean, sure, he was a dick to me, but look at it this way. We can torture him now by making him come with us everywhere again. So you can look at it either way. But yeah, I would like to have my brain back, but the heart and the spine I don't really want back because of the good perks that they come with. So now we have to head back to the sink. And now we have to convince them to basically reinstall the brain and not go crazy. But there are alternate, much more easy, fun ways to do it. Well, not easy, but more fun ways to do it. I believe the scorpions will no longer attack us, at least for the moment. Let's travel back to the Saint balcony and see what's going to happen with the think tank. But guys, this DLC is almost done. We're not far from the end of it. Trust me, I'm glad about that too. I'll be glad when this thing is over. Alright, brain. Let's go confront them. Well, actually, first Well, no, I don't think I need to heal up or anything, because that giant scorpion did, like, nothing to me. So, you can go ahead and put your body parts back in, but we're not going to do that. I'd rather just keep it the way it is, but I want my brain back. Now, obviously, you don't need to bring your brain back with you. You can live on without it. Dr. Klein awaits. You are all about to die, Doctor.
The lobotomite returns.
I found my brain and we're gonna settle things.
I recommend... Now, you...
I'm not handing my brain over. There's some things we're gonna discuss.
What could we possibly have to speak about? With it, we can finally leave this place. And we have so many questions to ask you.
You think I am the lobotomite? No, for my skull houses the brain of Mobius!
It's the most insane thing I've ever heard. Besides...
well, we don't have a high enough skill to do it. So, guess what? You're past due for your lobotomy, Klein. Let's see how much this actually does to him. It might not hurt him because they're flying. Aw, crap, it's not going to do anything to him. Well, that's quite a bit depressing. Let's pull out a real weapon to deal with these guys with. Shall we? Wonder if the 9mm will, Dang, these guys have got pretty good armor, though. Alright, we're gonna have to pull out something different, then. Fido? Aha! You don't block my shots now, Dr. Dalla. Wow, that did a lot of damage. Okay, let's reload and deal with the rest. Man, this thing, it does a lot of damage to these guys, but I'm taking quite a bit of damage with it. Wow, Dr. Klein is almost dead as well. And now he is dead. Or she. Electron charge pack, energy cells, and a lot of them. Wow, lots of good stuff. Let's take that fission battery with us. This might deteriorate your armor a bit, but it's not really that big a deal. We have the sink and everything with us. Let's see what you were carrying. A Meeting People magazine. Some other scraps. I don't really have room for that, but they got a lot of energy ammunition and stuff that, if anything, we can sell. And they haven't deteriorated my armor really that bad either, so it's not really that big a deal. I always forget that you can actually search them. Looks like there's one left. I just want to search the last body. Aw, you have a teddy bear. This is what you guys get for all those insults that you made in the first part of this freaking DLC. You deserved it. I'm sorry, but you deserved it. Well, maybe you didn't deserve it, but maybe you did deserve it. I don't know. Now, we just have to leave. Guys, this is it for the DLC. Yep, this is the end of the DLC, guys. Time for the cutscene.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The biological research station, obsessed with seeding everything in.
By the way, guys, happy Halloween. This is being recorded on Halloween, even though it's not going up until a couple days later.
So that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The Bookshoot continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magnetohydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean. Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole who created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind-eye old Jefferson eventually discovered a new sound. Silence. It only made him more filled with the blues than before. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names much too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years. As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time,
until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt worn, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after the stealth suit had left it without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
The think tank basement, filled with the lobotomized robotical frames of the doctors, now served as a graveyard. The monitors had recorded the battle in its entirety, including the think tank's final, shrill, terrified screams, whimpers, and pleas for mercy. They broadcast these humiliating last moments as a warning to anyone approaching the perimeter that other smarty pants were not welcome. The courier was the inheritor of the Big Empty, and there was room for only one will in the halls of the think tank dome.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however,
Spoilers.
old world blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
Also foreshadowing for the final main DLC, which is Lonesome Road. But like I said, that's not going to be covered in the main Let's Play. It may be covered one day in the future. So, we've lost the brainless perk. Next time, guys, since we've only got like 1 minute left on the camera, this is a long video. Next time, we will head back to the Mojave and begin recruiting the remnants. See you guys then.